Hey, did somebody say more cream cheese? Because we've been making a bunch of recipes with cream cheese. And it's apple time. So guess what we've got here? We've got spiced apple pie with rum cream cheese icing. I mean, this is total decadence here. Oh yeah. That's the way autumn should be. All right, let's go to the kitchen and make some of this right now. So here we have the ingredients for the cake itself. We're going to do the icing later. Now what I've got here at the back, I've got 2 cups of flour. Here I've got 2 apples, which has been cored and diced. That's 2 apples about that size right there. Just a regular apple size. Then over here I've got 1 cup of sugar. I'm using my favorite natural cane sugar. I've got 3/4 of a cup of plain yogurt, 1 cup of butter. Across the front here, 1 egg, 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, half a teaspoon of ground nutmeg, 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda, and then over here, 1 teaspoon of vanilla. All right, first thing I want to do is get some of these dry ingredients up front here into the flour. So I'm going to put the baking powder, a piece of apple off. Baking powder, the salt, the cinnamon, the nutmeg, and the baking soda. Those are all going in there, and then just mix them up a bit. So we're just going to distribute that throughout the flour. All right, that's pretty good. So I'm just going to put that off to one side. Next thing I want to do, grab a big bowl. I want to cream this butter. So this butter, it's been sitting out at room temperature, so it's a little softer, otherwise it's going to be really hard to cream a big block of butter like that. And then just squish down. Just keep doing that until the butter is creamed. All right, now I got the butter creamed up a bit. I'm going to cream in that sugar. In goes the sugar. Now it is easier to do it about half at a time, but I just like to get it all in there and get going. Cream away. All right, takes a bit of elbow grease, but after a while, you've got all the sugar creamed into the butter. So now what we're going to do, get this off the spoon first of all. What I'm going to do now is add the egg and the vanilla. And we're going to hit that with the mixer. I want to mix this for a little while until it's good and smooth. All right, that's been about a minute. That's looking really smooth. So now in goes the yogurt. All right, and then just push down from the sides a bit here. We've got something that's ridden up the sides, so get that back down into the bowl. Makes it a bit easier to mix. And then one more time with the mixer. All right, now it looks a little bit like lumpy gravy right now, but that's perfect. That's good. That's what we want. We just want everything blended together, and let's have a little taste here. That's gonna be good just like that. All right, okay, so what I do now is going to get the dry ingredients into the wet ingredients. So I'm going to put about half, start mixing it in a bit. Just want to lift and fold a bit. And start adding the rest. And just keep mixing until, just gently mixing until it all comes together. That's looking pretty good. So now, in goes the apples. And then just mix them enough just to get the apples distributed throughout the batter. Try to keep them all in the bowl. Well, that looks pretty good. Most of the apples are all coated in some batter. So now, what I've done here is I have a 9x9 cake pan. I've just buttered it gently, a little bit of butter inside it. It helps this paper stick, and then put paper in two directions so it goes up the sides too. So that's just a regular kitchen cooking paper. And then we're just going to spoon this in there. Now I got it all spooned in there, just smooth it down into the cake pan. All right, that looks pretty good there. Now, of course, we're going to do just a quick lick test. Oh, all right. All right, that's going to go in the oven over there at 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 180 degrees Celsius, 40 to 50 minutes. Going to pull it out and give it the toothpick test. So I'll see you then. All right, that's been 40 minutes in the oven. It's looking really good on the outside. We've got a little bit of browning around the edges and all. Center looks like it might need a little bit more, so I'm going to give it the test. Run that in there. Well, that's coming out pretty clean. Let's try it in the middle here. Yeah, there's a little bit right there. It's a little bit wet still. That's got to go in for enough. It's going to have to go for the full 50. That's going to have to go a little bit more. It's going to have to go in for the full 50 minutes. So, another 10 minutes in the oven. It depends on the heat of your oven. All right, so now that's been the full 50 minutes, and look, it's nice even browning across the top. So I'm going to stick the skewer right down into the middle here. Bring that out. That's coming out dry. Let's take another one just in case. Yeah, that's coming out really good now. All right, so that's ready to go. What we're going to do now is let that cool, and then after it's cooled just a little bit, get out here onto the cooling rack, let it cool right down, and then we're going to make the icing. That's going to be fantastic with that rum cream cheese icing on there. Now what you can do here, sometimes you can just, if you're careful, lift it out. It's still a little soft. I'm going to leave it for about 2, 3, 4 minutes, and then transfer to there. It's going to cool a lot faster once it gets on there, and air can get all around it. All right, see you when it's cool and we're ready to make the icing. All right, the cake has been sitting here for a couple of hours on the rack. It's cooled right down. Perfect. We don't want it warm because it'll just end up melting the icing that's on top of it. So what I've got here for the icing. Well, I've got a half a cup of butter which has been sitting out at room temperature. I've got 8 ounces or 230 grams of cream cheese also sitting out at room temperature. 6 tablespoons of dark rum. Now I like Myers dark rum. A lot of flavor in there. So you want a good dark rum. You want the spiced dark rums is good too. You try different ones. The light rums are just not strong enough, so make sure you get a good dark rum. And then for the icing sugar, well, I've got here 4 cups of icing sugar, but you never know with icing sugar, depending on the humidity, and you know, I live in Osaka where the humidity can be high sometimes, you might need more icing sugar. So I've got an extra cup here as backup. What we want is a pretty stiff icing, and you just keep adding until you get it just right. So, first of all, let's get the big bowl over here, and we'll cream that butter, which should be pretty easy to cream now because been sitting out for quite a long time. Oh yeah. It's not summer here anymore. It's about 15, 16 degrees out today. Sorry, that's Celsius. I have no idea what that is in Fahrenheit. It's cool. Yeah. In here, it's not really a warm room. It's just nice. All right, so that's creamed. Let's get that out of the way for now. Let's add in the cream cheese. All right, so I'm going to cream the cream cheese into the butter. Now the next thing I want to do is get that rum in there. So for that, we're going to use the mixer. We'll get this mixed in well. Put those aside for now. Get the mixer here. Add the rum. And just mix it until it's all nice and smooth. That's got to part way through. Just want to push down all the stuff around the outside so it also gets blended in well. It's looking pretty good and creamy though. Let's just hit it for a little bit longer. All right, that looks pretty smooth. So what I'm going to do now is going to start adding in a little bit at a time the icing sugar. So, and then just blend it in and just keep doing that. All right, now it's getting pretty stiff. That's about right there. It's going to hold its shape a bit. As it cools down, it'll stiffen up a bit more. Tastes fantastic. What we want to do now, start spreading it on our cake. So get this off here. Oh, my. Oh, that's going to be good. Really good. Really, really good. All right. Now you can put it on as heavy as you want. I mean, if you don't want as thick a layer as I like, yeah, this might be a bit heavy on the icing. And then you might use some of this on cupcakes or something. But we're going to put it on thick and heavy. Okay, that's looking pretty good. We still have icing left over. That's a lot of icing. Probably could make about half. Oh well. I never ever complain about having leftover icing. All right, so there we go. There's our spiced apple cake with rum cream cheese icing. All right, if you like this recipe, you like thick, creamy cream cheese, rum flavored icing, and apple cake, well, stick around. Check out some of our other recipes because we've got a whole bunch here on the YouTube channel. I mean, years worth of recipes. So go through, find some you like, make them, enjoy them. Also, make sure that you subscribe to the channel because every Monday there's a new original Kuma's Kitchen recipe coming out every Monday. And if you're not yet a member of our Patreon club, join the Patreon team, well, consider doing so because for just $3 a month, you can be supporting the creation of these original recipes, and you also get all kinds of cool stuff as a patron in the Patreon feed. Now, go make this decadent, delicious cake with this super decadent icing, and make cooking fun again in Kuma's Kitchen.